What unfortunate situation have you been in that you thought couldn't get any worse but did? My son died in the hospital when he was 6 days old. The hospital was to blame for his death, and they accepted responsibility. You'd be forgiven for thinking that the worst part of the heartache would be right there. It got worse. A lot worse. My husband and I were approached after our little one's death to ask for permission to do an autopsy. We were still shell-shocked, and the approach was a very hard sell. We were told that we'd be helping other babies to live. We were made to feel that we'd be doing something wrong if we said no. We reluctantly agreed, and were told that his body would be returned to us in 3 days. We made arrangements with the funeral home to collect his little body to prepare for his funeral. They were due to collect him from the hospital late in the evening of the 3rd day. However, we had an unexpected visit from the funeral director early in the morning of day 4. He asked us to sit down, as he had some news. He then went on to say, "I'm very sorry to tell you this, but the hospital can't find your baby." That was the beginning of a 3-week nightmare. The funeral director did everything he could to find him. Apparently, he was sent to another hospital for the autopsy. We had been told that this would happen. Then they said that they'd returned him to the wrong hospital. Another day, they said they'd found him. But when the funeral director went to collect him, he was told that it was the wrong baby. I could go on. It was hell. After 3 weeks, the funeral director, who had been amazing through all of this, came to see us and said that he'd managed to find him. He looked so terribly sad. I wasn't convinced that he had found him, and wondered if some agreement had been made somewhere to say that he'd been found. The funeral director was adamant that the casket had to be sealed, as 3 weeks had passed. I can't quite remember, but I think he may have said that this was normal practice after an autopsy. I may be wrong, but that somehow, in my head, the internal turmoil went into overdrive. Can I insist on seeing inside? Would I be able to bear it? Do I want to know? What if it's not him? What will knowing change? Nothing can bring him back. After hours of agonizing conversation, my husband and I decided to accept what the funeral director said. It was enough. We'd been through enough. We felt in our hearts that nothing good could come from knowing. On the day of the funeral, my husband and I sat side by side in the funeral car. My husband was holding our baby's tiny little white casket. We didn't know if the casket really did contain our little one. I guess we'll never know. Did we do the right thing? Who knows? That question will always remain unanswered.